Magic, synchronicity, cosmic consciousness, and other psychic phenomena are associated with and generally regarded as symptoms of having a higher state of consciousness. These things are helping to make our life seem more mysterious, more alive, and even more exciting. Hence, many of us chase these states of consciousness, but the problem is that many of the common paths laid out to reach these goals actually, in the end up doing more harm than good. So what we're going to do in this video is explore how you can get far higher with a harmonious and relatively balanced lifestyle rather than frying yourself through exogenous overstimulation via drugs or other mediums. Then we're going to look at how this process actually works from a really common sense and functional biophysical point of view. Just because the whole idea of spirituality or growing your consciousness seems like commonly very mysterious or airy-fairy or just otherworldly, when in reality it's none of those things. It's just as common sense and practical as eating food or taking a shower or going to the bathroom first thing in the morning. It's just a natural process that is commonplace throughout nature. So first, let's look at some illustrations which can really help us see and understand the point I'm trying to get across in this video. So just like, someone walking in and saying, oh, I'm going to take these things, or I'm just going to do this one little simple thing, and this thing is going to deliver me all the results I need, is very much akin to the phenomena of lottery winners often ending up worse off than before they had won the lottery. And what that means is that because they didn't work for the money, because they were just given it quickly and abruptly, they had no real foundation or understanding on how to value it, how to use it, how to take care of it. Hence, they end up worse off than before they started. So really, it's pretty much the same process here, because rather than putting in hours every single day through conscious focus, a person just, buys something or gets something for free and spends a few hours, experiences certain states or certain phenomena, however transient, and then believes that they've sort of made some real progress. Yet they generally don't value this information that they've received or know what to do with it. So this is where all of the terms come into play, such as burned out, fried, spaced out, toasted, ripped, torn down, and ungrounded. And these aren't just fun terms. These aren't just things you say or things people say. It's an actual literal description of what's happening to the nervous system. So many times people say that, yeah, dude, I'm so torn down right now. I'm so spaced out. I'm so toasted. It's like, exactly, you are. Your nervous system is toasted. So that's pretty accurate. So another way we can look at this is, let's say you're going to build a house and you're just going to throw in some electrical wiring real quick and just forget about the insulation, forget about the protection, forget about, grounding it. You're just going to leave the wires sort of exposed. So from there, you turn on the electricity and just ramp the system up at full capacity. And maybe the system might work for a little bit, you might get a little bit of results, but in the long run, there's going to be a lot of trouble. On the other hand, let's say you take the more, common sense and realistic approach and say, you know what, I'm going to focus on building this house the right way, do it step by step. So I'm going to put in the wiring, yes, I'm going to make sure the system is insulated, make sure the system is protected, make sure the system is grounded. Yes, it does take a little more time, it does take more resources, but the results are that the system will work much better for much longer, and there's probably not going to be any sort of frying or burnout as a result. So basically, from these two illustrations, what we're trying to get across is drugs basically ramp up your nervous system, or ramp up your endocrine system to stimulate a peak experience, not a pink experience, although that probably happens sometimes, but a peak experience. And this usually results within an energy loss somewhere in the system, meaning the energy just doesn't come from nowhere. It's not this magical thing. It's pulling from somewhere within the body. And we can equate this to leaking Jing and Qi. So Jing and Qi are like Chinese, medical concepts in a way, or that ancient Taoist concepts, however you want to look at them. But they're called the three treasures. And basically in this context, we could say Jing would be essentially our hormonal essence, and Qi would be the energy that we're running on the nervous system. So basically, if to make sense of this, generally psychedelics or various drugs are working on, serotonin, dopamine, acetylcholine, epinephrine, norepinephrine, all these different neurotransmitters, which are hormonally based, obviously. So where's that energy coming from? It's Jing. It's the same concept. And then the nervous system is electrical. Qi, electromagnetism, can essentially equate all these things somewhat together. So then we can see from both the Chinese perspective and the actual sort of biophysical perspective what's happening. So common sense will tell us that this is not really sustainable, and it will either instantly or eventually have side effects. Meaning if you're just running your system at full speed and burning up resources, obviously something's going to give eventually. So since we're talking about the nervous system, now we're going to look at how we can actually integrate certain methodologies and certain lifestyle strategies into our lives, which will actually deliver the results that we're looking for in a real, sustained, systematic, sustainable, realistic, long-term, grounded, practical, pragmatic way. And I only use all of those adverbs and adjectives to reiterate and drive home this point. And it's not like I'm just making this up. This is what they've been doing for thousands of years prior to me being born and prior to you being born and prior to all of these things. So now we've understood sort of the downside. Let's look at the positives. So intelligent practices like Tai Chi, Bagua, Qigong methods and certain meditation techniques affect the nervous system in quite a few positive ways. And you might be wondering, wait, why are you just focusing on the nervous system? What's all that about? Well, the nervous system is our sensory interface. It's what our senses are running off of. Our brain, it's running all throughout our body. So obviously that's going to be the main sort of biophysical mechanism through which all these different processes are going to unfold. So first, these techniques help to relieve tension and blocked energy in the system, which pretty much immediately leads to better flow and performance. Meaning wherever you're at, if you just get rid of the blockages and release the stress, you're going to feel a lot better. It's pretty much like, let's say you have a garden hose and there's a big knot in the middle. What most people do is just say, I don't want to deal with that knot. Let me just go over and turn the pressure up and just crank up all the water and see if I can get a little bit better results. And yeah, sure, maybe a little bit more will come out and it'll be a little bit better, but it might be worth spending an extra like 2 minutes to say, all right, let me just get this knot out of here. Get the knot out. Okay, now I don't actually need all this pressure. So boom, everything works better, much more easily and effectively with less energy. Hence, longevity. So the second thing is that they start to actually strengthen and build the nervous system so that it can actually handle more energy. Thirdly, through focus, relaxation, concentration, we learn how to govern our nervous system and focus our mind more accurately and easily. Meaning, what do I mean by govern our nervous system? We can say, oh my God, I'm getting sort of tight. Take a deep breath or refer back to the anchor of peace or relaxation that you have. Boom, easy. Or let's say you're in a stressful situation. Normally you respond with stress, but because you practiced and anchored more of a relaxation response, that's what's predominant, and you just glide through the situation, don't even realize that it was stressful. So through the concentration, through learning to govern our nervous system, we create internal peace, but an internal emptiness. And this emptiness is key because this is what attracts the higher consciousness, this is what attracts intuition, this is what attracts nutritive energy, which is actually going to nourish us and deliver the things that we want. And from here, these three different things which I just went over play off of each other over the long term, leading to higher and higher and higher and higher levels. Because it's really a simple systematic process. It just takes time, energy, attention, focus, and the maturity and the willingness to actually put in the time. Meaning, like I used with the lottery example, it's pretty easy to say, you know what, I don't actually have to learn how to create more wealth for myself. I don't actually have to put in the time and energy. I'm just going to go win the lottery, spend like $2 in 5 minutes, and that's going to give me everything I need. Yet, we can see that usually these people end up worse off than before. So, it's just two different states of consciousness, two different approaches. And you have to ask yourself, which one do you think is really going to yield the results that you're after, and which one do you really want to follow and invest your time, energy, and attention into? Because what I'm not saying in this video is polarities. This thing over here, this is all bad, this is all evil. This thing over here is all perfect and all, angelic. So please don't even waste your time writing responses that are falling into that box. What I'm saying is that common sense tells us we have a certain amount of lifespan, we have a certain amount of time each day, we have a certain amount of time each day that we can actually focus on certain activities, also a certain amount of energy, attention, focus, resources, etc. So we have to ask ourselves, given that we only have a certain amount of this to spend, what's going to be the best usage and utilization of our time and our investment, and which investment is going to provide the best and the highest return for our time invested. Hopefully that makes sense. It's probably going to be some people are going to email me and be like, oh, I've been smoking weed for 30 years and I have this and that, I've been doing this and that. That's fine. Like, I'm not telling you what you should or shouldn't do. I'm just laying out some common sense things which all of us can understand and leaving it up to you to make your own decisions and your own choices about, how you want to live your life. It's not my job. I live my life the way I want. You should live yours the way you want. I'm just sharing what helps me and what informs me. Hopefully it'll do the same for you. So if you have any questions or comments, post them below, and I'll talk to you soon.